All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. By opening up our Unreal, also we need to open up GitHub. And see, playing some music. I feel like hmm, okay. Yeah, for some reason I thought something else was playing. Okay. So we do have a commit to pull, so let's go ahead and grab that. If this is not quite in my way. All right, so what happened? Okay, so someone imported an asset. Let's go ahead and get Unreal launched. Oh, I see. That's okay. I got that figured out. Let's go ahead and open up project. Oh, wasn't expecting that. Oh, I see what it is. Okay, let's go ahead. So, got a few things we're going to be working on. See if we could get them all done tonight. So one is the artist added this asset, and so this is going to be replacing these white boxes. And the white boxes are essentially the interaction points for building and upgrading what's inside of these pens. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. And then in addition, after that, we're going to start working more on the UI and tweaking some of the stats. We had a bit of discussions on what exactly the resources and stuff should be, and we have a much better idea now. So I'm going to be replacing a lot of my dummy kind of placeholder stuff with some more finalized stuff. Okay, so this... Okay, so it's added as a skeletal mesh. Now let's see where they put it. Right here. All right, so let's go ahead and just open up the blueprint for the pens and just add it. Okay, so here in the viewport, so here is the cube. Delete that, add the skeletal mesh. And then let's set it. There we go. Now I believe, okay, there's no references to the cube. I'm just wondering if the physics will work on this. We might need to add a box. And did I have a preset for interactions? I don't think so. All right, so let's go ahead and play it. Let's see if that works. Yeah, we can't interact or collide with it. So we're gonna add probably a, let's see, it's the box collision. Yep, to the skeletal mesh. Now we need to change the size. That is done in right here. I think it's 50 when it's centered. Okay. So we'll do 50. And for the height, we'll make it a little bit taller, I think. Oh, we could just move this up, actually. Let's go with about 40. No? How about 35? I do want the height to be a little more closer. That should be fine. Okay, so now we could interact with them. Now, I don't want to be able to walk into it, so let's change that collisions preset. And let's change it to... I guess block all. File and save. Go ahead and check that. Okay, we can run into it. We can jump on it. We could interact. So that is all set on that end. Now in here, let's go ahead and delete this one. That was a placeholder. Let's save that. And let's go and commit that now. Oops. And since I have an update, let's restart this once this pushes. There we go. That was really quick. All right, so next we want to start working on the different stats and stuff. And we're going to start by using some structs and enums to lay some of this out. What's here? And so we have the initial ones done in this data folder. So interaction types is for the different types of interactions, and it's an enum. And so basically, the enum will help determine the priority. So when we're looking at stuff, we're going to prioritize like talking to something, then building versus dropping a pig or picking one up. And then last is none, which is the value of 0. And that is mostly there just as to stop interactions. So when things are no longer interactable, they just return a value of none instead of having to like remove a component or anything like that. Okay, our resources is one of the first things we need to change. And for that, let me pull up our Google Doc. Or actually, I can move it down here. It won't be on the screen, but that's okay. All right, let me scroll through this real quick. Those aren't values. Okay. So we won't have truffles anymore. That's this one right here. We are keeping wood. We are keeping stone. We won't have wood. We're not going to have water or breeding. Remove gold for a second too. I'm guessing none was there just as the default as well, just because enums, the first one will be a 0 when we convert it to an int. All right, so we have wood, we have stone. We also need coal, iron, gold, and uranium. So there's coal, raw iron, raw gold. Raw uranium. And then in addition, we need to have the cooked versions of these. We got an iron bar. The gold bar. And then lastly, uranium. Okay, so that's those resources. And then we are also going to have rubber, gas, see, glass, okay, computer chips, and then a final resource we haven't determined yet. Okay, so these are basically the things we could collect, or rather, the pigs could collect for us. Now we need another one for the pig's stats. Let's see, that was under... Are they under miscellaneous? Or are they in blueprints? Here they are. Yeah, so this one is E. Stats. And here we're going to be a little more fun and silly. It's looking at the notes. Okay. So like with the other enums, I'm going to start with none. Even though that probably won't have any use here. Just so things start at 1. Oops. Let me add that. It's going to be squig stats. All right, so the first is going to be their basically stomach. It's the size of their stomach, basically. And this is going to be used for determining how much food and how much water they could drink, which will in effect determine how long it is until they get hungry or thirsty again. And if they starve or dehydrate too much, they will die. A mechanic will hopefully be working at today. And so in addition to stomach size, we're going to add a stat for that hunger and thirst as well. And that won't be used as stats, but we're going to keep it here just to have it all on the squigs, I think. No, we're not going to keep it there. We'll keep this nice and pure as stats. We'll add those in a struct. Similar to another one. Okay, we do have a stat for reproducing. And for now, it's just going to be called their sex drive. We will have a stat for strength. Dexterity. And then the last one was intelligence. Where's the key? Pretty sure I'm spelling that. Font's so small. It's all right. All right, so that's the stats they could have. I'm still thinking if I should add the actual like stomach and stuff here. No. Should be a different enum probably. So we'll call this one. So it should be squig as well. Stats. Living stats? It's a horrible name. And let's also rename this one. I don't know where the F2 key is on this keyboard. Or, you know what, we'll call this fixed stats. And this one dynamic. Let's make sure everything is saved. Just double check the notes here. All right. So that's looking fine. Now I'm just wondering if changing any of that will break anything. I feel like it will. So let's go ahead and try playing it, and then we'll try doing a build. Yep. Let's go ahead and open all of these. And what we're going to do for this blueprint is... I think we're going to delete all these. We're going to have to rework this blueprint basically from scratch, because almost none of this is going to be the same. So on that, let's go ahead and delete all of those. Actually, no, we'll just go ahead and delete all of this for now. And then for the upgrade pen, why did this one not work? Key. I see. We'll have to rethink how this is all done. So originally we were using gold as a resource for buying things, but we actually want to start acquiring actual crafting resources. So all of this will need to change as well. But what I'll do in the meantime is just disconnect this node. And build pen is going to be pretty similar. This is all going to need to change. We're going to delete that. I'm guessing it's the purchase that's not working. Actually, a lot of these aren't working, so we just got rid of the buttons. So we'll go ahead and delete these. Is there one down here? Now, will that compile, or it won't because of purchase? We'll do a similar thing. We'll just disconnect the node for now. Oh, still breaking. There's truffles. Interesting. Not really. So this get focus target is used by Common UI to determine like what to focus on by default. So that fixes that one. And then these are also broken for a very similar reason. Let's go ahead and delete that. And then in here, go ahead and delete all of these. I can't shift select, can you? Now, what's an update? Okay, that just sets the squig. Uh-oh. Okay. So let's change this name while we're in here. I'm going to change it to set squig. What's going? Oh, that's why. My cat is hitting buttons on my spare mouse. Okay, the name isn't in here. Let's rename it here. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to make sure this is private. No, it's fine if blueprints use it. We're not going to be doing any derived blueprints anyways for this. Alright, so now we should be able to play. Of course, the stats bar is just a tiny white circle. There's nothing in it anymore. And this will probably do nothing. And that will also... Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's something we're going to be fixing soon. So let's save everything. And this one is going to be... adding enums and Moving all the old stat-based UI items. We're going to commit and push that. And we are using one branch just because most people are not familiar with Git. So I'm not going to be doing like feature branches, pull requests, whatever we use, and all that. It'd be really hard to get everyone up to speed on that and to enforce all that stuff on a jam. Okay, so where do we want to start with implementing things? Let's start by working on the squig. Or actually, one more. We need one more enum, possibly. And we need a few more in here, maybe. So I'm going to add back the water and truffles, maybe. Think about it. It's not for now, but we will make one for the different pen types. So that's going to be blueprints. And I'm going to rename these. I don't want these to be plural. There we go. Let's open up this pen type. So, and what are these going to be? So these names will likely change depending on what the modeling or the artist wants to do for the 3D models. So we'll start with water. Oops. Keep forgetting that's the description. Okay, we'll start with none. Keep that for 0. We're going to add the water and food. These are the pens that are going to be used for feeding the pigs and letting them drink. Then we're going to have a breeding pen. Most likely we'll change this into a love hotel or something. Then we need to start doing pins for the different resources. Okay, we got a tree farm. On that note, let's call food a truffle farm. Why not call this watering hole for now? Okay, next one is going to be mines, or a mine shaft. For cooking those resources, we need a forge. Then we're moving on to a rubber tree farm. Okay, we need a gas, a lab. So, let's see. Oil drill. We're going to call the lab a synthetics factory, actually. So it's going to be used for crafting our more advanced materials, like the computer circuits. And then we haven't decided on what the final resource is, so that's just going to be final resource for now. So that is the pen types. Now we are going to commit and save all that. Okay, so next let's think about the structs we're going to need for some of this. So something I use a lot is going to be like how much of resources things have. And same thing, so basically for like almost all of these enums, is we need a struct that's where the enum is the key, and we have an int or a float or something like that as the value. So let's go to blueprints and structure. And we're going to start with the squig static stats. And let's see, should we do prefixes with these maybe? Maybe ST? So this is for the static stats. So we will start out with not popping up. Squig. I see fixed. We'll just call this oops. Fix that. We're going to make this into a map pointing to ints. And actually, since we could combine these, we're going to rename this just the squig stats. So next will be the dynamic stats. That will be squig dynamic. And just like the other one, that will be a map. And we'll also point to an int. And so since dynamics are ones that will be changing for things like food and thirst, we want to make sure we also have a cap. Oh wait, no, the cap is determined by the stomach size. So I think that would be it for this. Yep. There's one more enum we'll add, and we'll add that to that in a second. So we are going to have like different, almost like technology ages. There's only 3. But that's going to come into play with some of the pig stat stuff, so we need that with the pigs too. what should we call it? An epoch? Okay, so the first one we'll call the Stone Age. Industrial. And what should we call the future age? We'll just call it. Yeah, I'll have someone else come up with a better name for this one. And let's also do a default of none, so we'll make that. Or yeah, I'm just assuming this is a habit. It's probably not going to be that useful. Okay, so let's go back to the pig strut. We're going to add that enum because we need to track what age that pig is part of. Because that determines like the max stats. It's called born during. Or born on. Save that. Then I think there is a stat I might have missed. Let's go back there. For the dynamic. Oh, we didn't add the dynamics, that's why. Default of none. They will get hungry. They get thirsty. And they get unhappy. And so one of the real kind of ideas of this game is we are not a good person. We're going to be using pigs to basically do slave labor for us. And as they go through these ages and get more intelligent and get more unhappy, at some point they're going to revolt and kill us. So that is why we have an unhappy stat as opposed to a happy stat. Because the more unhappy they are is what we're actually tracking. Now let's think for a moment. That's all good. Now in the save, we're going to change this into their stats, and that is going to be, actually let's delete it. Add a new one. This is going to be stats. That would be the squig. Stat struct. And so this is the data we're saving, which is really just their transform along with that. We'll need to do something similar for the pen save. And we'll need to rethink how pens are going to be done too, because we did actually figure out what we're going to do for some of the upgrades. So I might leave this here for now. We probably won't get to all of that today. We're going to focus on the pigs mostly. Let's go ahead and save all that. What we can do for those, though, is we could make a struct for the types of upgrades. So, oops, not a blueprint class. We need a struct. or enum rather. There we go. We'll call it pen upgrades. We'll have none. In this case, it will probably be used for something. Now, the gist of them is we want them to upgrade either the speed the quantity, and actually we'll change this so it'll be resource speed. No, we just keep a speed. I'm thinking a little too ahead on naming stuff. Okay, so we need to also increase the quantity. And let's... Yeah, we have a few things where I feel like quantity could count. We want capacity. We'll do quality. Things we want a second kind of quantity. Or maybe we'll just get rid of that decision when we get to that. And quantity will do what it needs to for each thing instead of having pens do both. Yeah, that would make sense because I say, yeah, capacity will affect the other thing I was thinking of. Because we're thinking for like trees, as you upgrade it, you could grow bigger trees, which would be quantity, and more trees when you have a bigger capacity for more squigs. Quality is mostly going to affect like the mines, stuff like that. We want to have one for like effectiveness or something. I think they'll be affected by quality, and that's for things like the forge, how much resources does it consume. So we will save that. I bet lots of things will be breaking now. I'm the only person who actually does builds, by the way, so. Mostly trying to avoid conflict so people could open the project and do stuff more than anything else. So now we're breaking things, of course. It's all going to be related to those changes. So what's breaking in here? Yeah, we'll just disconnect nodes again. Oh, why is it? Yeah, we're gonna have to start with the squigs, saving and loading and all that. Same thing's gonna happen there. Okay. I'm surprised it hasn't thrown any errors yet about the saved addicts. I know that's gonna be the next thing. Alright, so let's just call that XBP. from here, yeah, let's set up the squig. And then we're going to work on saving and loading it. So it's no longer going to have this gather rate resources. Use, yes, they want it to break things, that's fine. Because instead, we have those new structs we made. Let me double check the names. ST squig stats. Now, can we do... Yes, we can do a default. Okay. So let's go ahead and start doing defaults. So something you can't do is you can't just hit add and have duplicates because it's a map. And it automatically will create one of the first type. So if you want to be adding more, you gotta have them be something else. So I usually like to go in reverse order. So intelligence usually is, we'll start at 1. X31. Actually, we'll set it to 0. Strength will start at 1. We'll start intelligence at 0 as well. And then their sex drive and their stomach size. So this will default to 1, and then this will default to, let's say, like 5. Their default dynamic stats. Unhappiness will start at 0. Thirsty, well, that's going to go down. So want to rename that in a second. Or, no, we'll just have it go down. Hunger will also be 5. Was there another one? Just none. All right, let's add none as a fixed stat as well. Let's keep that all consistent. And also rename these to ST with the prefix. Well, here, check these ones. That has none. That has none. Oops. Wrong X button. That one does. That one does as well. Interaction type does. So does Epic. Okay. Now let's also keep these all in our new convention. So we're doing ST. Along with ST. All right. Does anything break when we go to play now? Nope. So we're going to go ahead and save this set of stuff. Okay, and then when it comes to the UI, not really sure how I want to... Well, I know how I want most of it to lay out. What I'm wondering is about the icons. I want to attach those to the enums. And a struct doesn't quite make sense, so I feel like that's where a data table will make more sense. And I haven't really worked much with data yet. So let's go ahead and figure some of that out. See, I think all of that stuff is under miscellaneous, right? Do we use a struct for these? We can, okay. So let's make some structs for that. So we need a struct for the icons for each of those different types of things we've already had. Okay, so st. Let's do squig. Do the, no, we call it fix, right? Or we're gonna call it static. Static stat icon. Now this is going to take that enum of the fix stat, which we'll rename later. And it will also be a map, and this time it'll be pointing to, I think images are stored as textures. I believe it could be a reference. Actually, this is... I mean, that's all we need, but we want to make this into a table. I don't think we could limit this to 1. And I think tables will allow duplicates. We'll see. We'll make this one the texture reference. Why is my keyboard not working? Icon, there we go. Let's check. Let's make a data table for that. That was under miscellaneous. I'm curious how to work with these. And these are prefixed with DT. Squig. Static. Stat. Icons. Alright, we'll delete this for now. I just want to see, so if we do that one as stomach size, can we do that one as, yeah. Let's see, row struct. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to restrict it. Something I'll probably have to figure out in a different jam. So we got the static icons, we need the dynamic ones as well. I think that was miscellaneous. Data table. That's gonna be DT. No, that's wrong. Dynamic. Why is it not popping up? Did I name it something else by mistake? Fix that. We know this needs to be static, so let's do that now. Oh, I see why. This table. What is it doing? Did I do this wrong? We have a stat. Those are the dynamic stats. That's why. Yeah, let's redo these. So miscellaneous. Here's our data table. Okay, we are going to do oh, we can't do it from the things. That's why it has to be from the structs. Okay. Double check the structs. We have static. We have dynamic. It's just a property there. Because it's static icon. We never made a dynamic icon. Squig. Dynamic. Stat. Icon. That is why. It's a dynamic enum. And then it is the texture. There we go. So from there, we'll make the data tables, and let's make a folder for icons for this. We're right here. Miscellaneous. Okay, so this one will be DT squig icons. Double checking. Yep, those are the statics. Let me rename this. I forgot to add the word stat. Now let's do one for the dynamic ones next. DT. Oops. There we go. DT. Oh, come on. Squig. Dynamic. Stat. Icon. Okay, those are those two icons. Do we need icons for... We probably want them for the pen types. But we're going to leave that out for now. We do need them for the resources, though. So let's do that. Do we have a struct? Do not. What's the enums called? Just resource. And we want to do it for Epic, too. So we'll create the stat or the structs for them. Structure and blueprints. So this will be st. A resource icon. And then we need one for epics as well. Starting here, we have e resource. Then here we have the texture or the icon. That didn't select it. Seems to be a bug with Unreal that I've been having. And then I also have issues where sometimes the mouse cursor will disappear. I got right click or something. That's the resource. Now let's do it for the epics. So st epic icon. E epic. Texture. Go. Now let's make the data tables. So miscellaneous. We want resource. So there's the resource icons, and then we need the epic. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. This one's creating data tables or icons. Okay. So what should we work on next? Let's go ahead and the squigs. Let's start with the UI when we pick them up, I think. And for that, we're going to need some placeholders for those icons. Well, I'm thinking... I'm also wondering if I could loop through and add the stats instead of having to manually create them all. Let's see if we could find free icons. That... Maybe check the marketplace first. I never grabbed my free ones. Let's do that real quick. Alright, so we want to find one with some icons if we can. Let's see what's in here. So this has ores. We could use that, but I don't want to have to get a ton of different icon packs. So I'm hoping just to find one that will have enough of what we need for most of it to make sense, and then the rest we could do some random stuff. I'm seeing this person a lot. Do they have a collection? They do have mining, they have wood. Can we sort? Generally, sorting high to low is a good way of finding out if people have packs that include multiple things, like this. Monster. Survival might be promising. Not as much as hoping. A fantasy, does this have like resource types and stuff, or is it just stuff like that? Okay, we do have food. We do have gems. I feel like this might be the one. I'm just a little hesitant to spend $50 on something that's so temporary. Why am I still on the first page? Okay. Let's check out this person, see what they have for packs. I wish they had an everything pack. But these are looking more promising, so I think I'll go ahead and get some of these. I think we'll do food, resources. Maybe just those two will be enough. Really depends on like everything that's in here. Because if not, the herbs and the loot might also be useful. But we'll stick with those two for now. And I'm going to move over here to make the purchase. I'll actually be right back and make the purchase just in case anything sensitive comes up. Yeah, grabs all again to make it. Grab my password from my password manager. Yes. I forgot to transition, didn't I? Whoops. Oh, it's just the email that popped up. Seems like this crashed. Yep, Unreal has crashed. Mm. Gonna kill it. Alright, so now we are going to add those asset packs. So let's add food. And resources. We're gonna launch it, and then we'll save anything that needs to be saved, and we'll push that. Then we'll start populating those data tables with some defaults. Okay, nothing needs to be saved. It's probably a bunch of files. This could take about a minute or so. And to get all of this working, so Unreal takes up a huge amount of space. So to do this, what we have to do is we have LFS enabled for one, and then I am also paying for my GitHub. I'm paying $5 a month right now, mostly for this project. There is a chance I might need to upgrade it for $10 temporarily. Anyway, so while that's happening, let's go ahead and start working on these. So let's start with maybe the resource icons. Dot. One right there. I could browse the pack. Let's see where. Okay, it's not there. Nice. Definitely like how this person has organized it. Should we do a background or should we have it transparent? Well, these are kind of strange. Oh, they have like a little hue or some kind of color in the corner of some of these. Looks intentional. Yeah. Do wish it was a separate layer. Okay, yep. There is wood indeed. Let's do... Let's get the black background ones. I'll go with this one. Oh, the rose has to have a name. Alright, so that's that one. Next will be stone. Is there anything like a stone or a rock in here? Let's see, is there something we could maybe use? Maybe the dice. Or we could use one of these rocks. Yeah, let's go with one of these rocks maybe. So we are going to need iron, so we want to make sure it's something that can't be confused with that. Let's go with... Thinking... So hard, but maybe this one or that one. Because we'll use this for uranium. I guess we'll have to use this for iron, so this will be the stone for now. Or this. I'll go with this one. So that is stone. Oh, coal. Hmm. I don't think there's a good one in here for that. Let's use one of the colors we're probably not going to be using for the things down here. We'll use red. That won't conflict with anything. Next up is the iron. Use this one. Oh, I see. Can't have any spaces in the row names. That is gold. Surprised there isn't anything in here that would be good for raw. Use this one. Okay, after the raw gold, we have raw uranium, which would be the green one. We're now down to rubber. Is there anything very plasticky in here? I feel like there wouldn't be. That makes sense. So we will go with maybe this one. Okay, next up, gas. That one's gonna be really hard. Let's use. I think there was an hourglass in here. Glass. So we'll use that for glass, and we're gonna go change the gas one in a second. Change the gas one to one of these lamps, maybe? Kind of like an oil lamp almost. Where was it? You have a computer chip. For that, let's use the rune. Then next is the final resource. Now let's use maybe one of these spheres up here. Where are they? We'll use this. So we'll save that. Name is final. And then while I'm here, so I'm noticing I didn't make the bars here. Oh, I just skipped over them, that's why. So let's add those. So the iron bar. See, for iron we're using, I think that. Next is the gold bar. And then we have pure uranium. That will be... Oh, there isn't really a green ore, is there? There's a bar form, so we'll use green orb. Just for organization, I am going to reorder these. Got a typo here. God bar. That'd be a good one. Okay, so I think that's all that. I got the dynamic stats. Let's go ahead and dock that. Okay, hunger. Now that's normally like a ham for most games. We could definitely do that. But since they eat truffles, I'm almost wondering if it could be a mushroom. They have some. I'm gonna go with a skewer, because for the final, what we're probably gonna do is like have skewers of mushroom, like a mushroom skewer. It's hungry. Got thirsty, which could be one of these cups. We'll do the jug. I assume there isn't like a water icon. Yeah. Yeah. So that is for thirsty. Next up is happiness. What can we do for that? Because ideally that would be something like a heart. But I know there's not going to be anything like that in here. So let's go with this pink one for now. Or actually, since it's unhappy, let's go with that purple one. Or maybe... So anything like maybe shackles? No, so let's go with a skeleton head then. I think that was all of those. Yep. So I'll save that. Next is their static icons. Stomach size. Let's dock this. I don't... What should we do for this one? Crate. Next up is their sex drive. That would be a good one for... Maybe the red carpet. I think I'll go with this. Next up, dexterity. Maybe like a needle or something. Pretty sure there was those. Probably towards the top. We skipped over strength. For that we'll use like a hammer or something. There were tools down here. That up. Then lastly is intelligence. For that we'll do, I think there's a spyglass in here. There we go. So that's for that one. See some placeholders for the epics as well. Stone Age. Stock it. So thinking a little bit ahead. This could be like stone, industrial. I don't know if those really scream future, but I'll do that. That's for industrial. Last is the future age. I'm gonna go with this one. There we go. Okay, so let's try to learn how to actually work with these. I hope that is the right way to do what I'm wanting to do. So we're gonna start with the widgets for the pig stats. For that, I think, let's make one basically for an individual stat. Let's say first, actually. So we're using Common UI, so we want Common Activatable as the base. This one's going to be WBP underscore squig stat. So a squig stat will consist, we need to add an overlay instead of a canvas. And then it will be a horizontal box. The box will take the full width. And then in it, we will need the icon. So let's add an image. And then we need text for the name. Probably, oh, not that text though. We need the common one. And then we need it for the value. I'm going to rename these. Common text, stat name. Common text, stat value. And we will make the value fill. Should we make them all fill? No. Make that right aligned, I think. I think we'll do it like that. Then let's add some spacers. Let's set them to fill, and we'll see how it looks. We'll adjust that later if we need to. Now all of these need to be variables. And then go to the graph. So since there's a few UI elements that are going to be updated whenever a squig is updated, let's make a interface for that. So we're going to do a under blueprints. It's BPI. We'll call it updatable squig UI. It's going to only have one function, which is update. All right, let's rename it. Let's call it we'll call it update. We'll add UI. Change it some more. I want to keep these unique, that way we don't ever have conflicts with the names. Do update squig UI. We'll take an input of a squig. Did not select it again. It's that bug. Works on the second time. Okay, we will compile and save that. So this stat will inherit that. Let's go to class settings, add that. Not namespaces. Oh, there's namespaces. Okay. I should learn about that. Here's the interfaces. So we also need to track what stat this is actually for. So let's see, these fixed ones are going to be the static ones. So you want to get those stats, we're going to break it or split it rather. We will find that value. And then we will set it to the value here. So that is set text. Boom. And this will be instance editable. Then we will also need a reference to that data table. So dt. Oh, can we not do that? Is it just a data table? Okay, so there's that. That should work with 0. Let's add a return node just for consistency. Oh, these don't have one. It's not a context thing, right? Turn. Okay. Looks like there isn't for those. That's fine. So we'll save that, and let's do an init event. And here we are going to set the name and the icon. Now I need to figure out how to actually work with data tables. So can we do as no, that's not how it's going to work. For the name, we're going with this. I know there's a way to convert that. We convert it to text first. we want enums as string. And then string to text. Go. Now I need to figure out how to actually grab stuff from data tables. That might not have been the right decision there. Okay. So we get a data table row. This is for static. And so we're gonna make a convention or a rule for ourselves that we are going to name the rows based on the name of the enum. What are convert it to a string. And then, is there a way to remove white spaces? Could we do a string replace? Can. Is there a regular expression version? So we want to move a space to nothing. Let's see if that works. That we convert it to the name. That's how we that. And that will be our icon. Texture object. Texture 2D. So we need to change that. So data structs. Convert that to a texture 2D. Will that break the data table? That seems to be okay. Okay, now we could do that. Now I'm thinking if we should have any kind of checks in place. And I probably won't because this is a game jam, but what would be useful if this was a longer term project would be to confirm that this is equal to this, and if not, throw an error. And similarly throw an error for if not found. I don't think we could do errors in blueprints, can we? Can we throw an exception? No. It's definitely where C++ would be a lot more useful. Let's move this. But, you know, I would like to know if it's not found without digging here. So let's go ahead and do a print. Or would it be log? Is there an add log? I don't think so. So it would just be print. We're gonna do build to find icon. For but that will not do the format for us. Copy this first. Oh, you can't triple click, can you? So we'll do format. The text. Is that text? Yep. You want to print text instead. That's the format. And we'll do probably the stats with string. So it's basically this right over here. We'll convert that to a macro. We'll say stat as a string. There we go for that. And then for cleaning this up, let's do collapse these as well into a macro. Or we'll just collapse nodes. We don't need to make it a macro. And this will be we'll call it update. We'll do a set tax. Would that be okay? Yeah, that didn't cause any issues. And this will be can we do it like that? reset icon. Be on failure. And that is not complicated enough to want to collapse that. We will move it a little bit over. There we go. This here is complicated enough, so we will collapse this as well. We'll call this one to value. Let's move the pin up. Let's rename this to set name instead. Okay, so when we are adding a squig or picking up, we'll run through all the things inside of the stats menu and run this method. And this happens on a nip. Or because if I'm wanting to loop and create these, we'll have to change that. However, my headphones are about to die, so I'm going to be leaving shortly. So I might have to deal with that issue another day. So stats, in here it will be vertical bot. I bet. Wrong spot. Need to add a vertical box. Make it a variable. We'll call this the static stats for now. So then on init, we want, can we do a loop for enums? I believe we can. Yeah, we will loop through them. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, because then we're going to need to create the widget. Get it? Can we add a child? That is the idea, but first need to update everything. So as stat, that will get fed into here, but before that happens, we need to call that update. And on that note, instead of casting it to a stat, we could actually, can we cast it to a blueprint, to the interface? I don't think so. But I don't think we need to cast either because of that. Right? Yeah. To do that, we update the squig. Be from here. And we also need to do is we need to set the type for the UI. So I think we'll update the interface to take that type as well. I assume I can't just, yeah, do that. So we'll take an E with the static things. We'll just call it stat type. Oh, why is that not? What did I do wrong? That is there as an input. So we're going to change this macro to take that. Input. That's no longer instance editable. All right. So what is broken? Set name. See if that will also take that as a variable. Still not done. Let's go to the event graph. Guessing right here we need to do the same thing. We will rename these to then and failed, or success and failed. And I'd rather do that than returnable because then we're just gonna needing to do a branch anyways, and that just saves us from having to do that. Now that saves. We'll make this a macro. Or no, collapse nodes. To failed. Also need to take this in. Now let's head back up. Basically, none of this is going to happen on init. It's all going to happen with this. Let's also add... Ooh, that looks ugly. I hate when you collapse things, how, like, it makes such a mess out of everything. Grab these. And throw these all in here. Like so. I do not know why this is not updating with that. Maybe I did the wrong one. Alright. So it's the squig, and then it is this right here. Gotta reroute just to make that a little bit cleaner. There we go. And takes care of that. I think really we just need to test this. This shouldn't happen on a init either. This will all be in a function. Right? We do need call from outside, and we don't want to have to like remake the UI every time, which is... So, function makes the most sense. I feel silly. We already have a function. So we want to take all of this, have it happen here. Additionally, we no longer need to keep that squig value. I do not know what else is referencing that though. So that is good, and then let's look at the character. Whatever. Just try it. Actually, it might just work. Nope. Okay, what is wrong with the pen? Gather rate. Yeah, all of that. It's fine. A little choppy when streaming YouTube. Yeah, that's not working. Because we are no longer setting a squid. We are updating it, right? Where were we? It's the stance. Here it is. So we aren't setting a variable anymore. Now we're calling a function. Sure, it does still take the squig. That's not working. Wonder why. So let's go ahead and add the breakpoint. We'll go pick one up. Start stepping through this, see what's going on. Okay, so we're starting with what doesn't tell me the actual value. Okay, but we create it. Oh, I see. This right here. Create the widget, but we didn't actually add it. Okay, we'll untoggle that. We'll see if it works now. There we go. Okay, so that's working, but we need to do something about that UI later. And we also want to skip over none. So do that. Branch, and the condition will be let's leave this equals, or we'll do not equal. Boom. That stuff is only if it's true. Mm. And let's drag this down. On with this one. That way this could sit a little more nicely over here. Oops, too much. Like that. We'll actually feed into it this way, maybe? No, I think that's cleaner. Have that get mostly straight. We're going to take this and reroute it similarly. So that will skip our none. There we go. Now we got to figure out that box. Also, we want to make this not hit testable for everything. It's not interactable in any way. Does not support focus. What is determining that size? It's not that. Could it be this? Hmm. I'm wondering if this would be doing it. No, I wanted to fill the overlay. You know what it probably is something with these text blocks. Maybe it's the scrolling. I wonder if scrolling would let it overlay. Nope. That doesn't have a size. The border only has that size. That doesn't have a size. There's no max values. Is there a min value? padding. It's not that. I feel like it has to be something like that. It has to probably do with it getting a size before all the text is rendered or something. The only other thing I could think of is that being set to fill. If we make it auto, maybe. Otherwise, we could also maybe get rid of the spacers. Hmm. So it is that. So if that's auto, we'll make that auto, I guess. And then keep those spacers. So that's kind of doing it. It would be nice if we have some more space. Could we do some padding on here? Mostly on the bottom. I'd really like some kind of space with these. Okay, so it is fill. Let's do some padding on these, and that will probably help give us some space. There we go. Now, I think something else we're going to do is we're going to hide... No, we'll keep the stomach size. Alright, so I'm probably going to call it for today, but then later on, what I'm going to do is I need to add basically all the other UI stuff away to this. So, and the same thing, we also need to add like the hunger and stuff, but that's not going to be using the same stats here. Instead, we're going to have a different stat thing, because it'll be more of a progress gauge. Alright. I'm going to call it for now, though. Thank you for watching.